Allow me to take you back to the event in Nyandarua County yesterday. You were deputy.
We were talking about taxes.
Okay, of course we did.
Yes.
And
not about taxes this time.
In relation to that.
Okay.
Because it's still about running of a government.
Yes.
Your deputy is on record in equating Kenya to a shareholding company. Yesterday he talked about state appointments, and he talked about it while you were there. I don't want to quote him verbatim. In regards to state appointments that you make as the commander-in-chief and the symbol of national unity, is it a right for others and a privilege for the rest, yet your government expects all Kenyans to pay taxes?
It is a right for every Kenyan.
What do you say about the sentiment by your deputy?
My deputy is a very eloquent person.
It doesn't matter the eloquence.
I suggest...
Is Kenya a shareholding company?
I suggest you go and ask him those questions.
Okay.
He's a very capable Kenyan.
All right. It's a straightforward question.
And I am sure he will not shy away.
Okay.
He knows how to handle those questions.
And
but I can give you my commitment.
Mr. President, let me just pause you. You will proceed. I'll give you the time. You'll answer me.
Okay.
Allow me to ask you the question.
Abdi.
The presidency is a symbol of national unity.
Correct.
You all represent us, isn't it?
Absolutely.
What's your view? Is Kenya a shareholding company, or as the Constitution establishes, a secular state where we are all equal before the law?
All Kenyans are equal before the law. When it comes to political appointments, right? Everywhere in the world, there are certain considerations you make. There are people who support you, and they have legitimate expectation. That's why they support you. So, when you're making those appointments, you have to consider national balance. You have also to consider your support base. It happens everywhere. Let me tell you, some people take it to the extreme. You can never accuse me or this administration that I have taken my daughter or my son or my relative and made them an MP or made them a minister or made them something. I will not do that. Yeah? I will not do that. Our competitors do that. They go take their children, they take them here, they take them there, they take them... That I will not do. Because I understand where I am coming from, right? Let me also tell you the following. Sometimes, because of our, obsession, allow me to use that word, it's a bit negative, because we are too much interested in this tribe, this guy is this tribe, this guy is this tribe, this guy is this tribe. We get too absorbed in tribe identity, identity politics. It's time we transited from identity politics into politics of interest. Abdi, the 36,000 housing units that I have launched for construction, there are close to 100,000 Kenyans working. There are Kenyans from all over the place. Nobody asks them when they go to those construction sites as community surveyors or technicians or electricians, or nobody asks them which tribe do you come from. I was in Homa Bay to launch the same. And this program of housing is going to be in every corner of the Republic of Kenya. We're going to make sure so that we begin to walk away from 3, 10, 20 appointments. We are so obsessed. It's because of this scarcity. We are so obsessed with 10 people or 20 people. You will discover, for example, it doesn't matter. Even if I appoint 20 people from a certain community, let me not mention any community, it will not change the dynamic. People from that community, millions are still on the street. Wengi bado wako kwa dimanga pale. Wananga. How do we, Abdi, how do we, instead of arguing about 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 appointments, how do we create the ecosystem that will employ Kenyans in millions? Kenyans in every part,
Right.
How do we make sure that we have a program in Kakamega that will employ 10,000 young people? We have a program in Kwale. That is the program I'm looking for. And that is why, Abdi, I am telling you, and I want to persuade my fellow countrymen and women, please, let us invest our resources in projects and programs that will create 3, 4, 5 million jobs for the people walking in our streets, our own children, our own blood and flesh walking the streets. Don't walk away from them. Don't say, I have a job. How is it my business to bother about the fellows who don't have a job? Right. I mean, surely. We have a responsibility, Abdi. You agree with me? We have a responsibility.
Okay. We have a responsibility, yes, we do. Taking you back from that housing element, you have parachuted into that.
Yeah.
And it seems to be...
It's because I am very passionate about it.
Seems to be
because I see an opportunity for this country to change.
Thank you. It seems though it looks like semantic evasion. Final question on this.
Yes.
Because it's still on appointment. You said the expectation from those who supported you during the campaigns, and you have to place them somewhere in your government. Good example. Hypothetically, we are seated here. Mm-hmm. Ayub was your supporter, say, for example, during the campaign.
Pardon?
Ayub was supporter. I supported you, your campaigns, by financing, but I have no qualifications. Eric Latif didn't support you, but is a Kenyan like me who expects to serve his country. He has the qualifications. He has the merit, for example, let's say. Between me and Eric in your government, who will you pick?
I will pick Eric.
Okay. But that is not the case in many aspects.
That is the case.
It isn't.
That is the case.
You have made political appointees.
That is the case.
Awarding competency. And
I appointed General Ogola. General Ogola is among the people who went to Bomas to try and overturn my victory. Do you know that? But because when I looked at his CV, he was the best person to be general. I called him and I sat him down. I told him, my friend, you went to Bomas to try and overturn my victory. But because you are the best person to be general, I'm going to give you the job. That is how it works with me. That's why I told you, if a person has the qualification, if he is the best for the job, I will give him the job.
But that is the military. There's a code of conduct for the military and how politics works in Kenya, Mr. President.
Let me tell you, my friend, I had the opportunity. I could have appointed anybody. I had, I think, 10 choices. I didn't have to. You know, there are people who say, oh, you know, William Ruto appointed Ogola because he was the deputy CDF. That's not the case. I made the decision consciously. And I made the decision against the advice of many people. Many people told me, you should not give this, you should not reward this kind of behavior. Okay. But, you know, I also must be sensitive. What exercised my mind? This gentleman has a good track record. And in fact, when I spoke to him, and it's not something that I should be talking about, but because you have asked a good question. What exercised my mind is, this gentleman, yes, he may have made a mistake. Maybe because the commander-in-chief that time told him what to do. Maybe he... And when I talked to him, he told me, I have no defense. He told me, I have no defense. You do with me whatever you want. I cannot defend. It was wrong. What I did was wrong. Yeah? I am also conscious. My good friend Ayub, I'm also conscious that since independence, there is nobody from Nyanza who has ever been CDF. And it also played in my mind that I don't want a situation where a whole community think they cannot occupy a certain office. So many things that are part of my system overweighed the mistake he had done. Okay. You know, so I want to tell you that I make very sensitive appointments. I make very deliberate appointments. Many of the appointments, of course, that do not have to directly require my signature. Many of these managing directors, I don't know who, they are interviews all over the place. You know, so, and when a panel decides, for example, I was brought a panel that interviewed the CEO of museum. And just by coincidence, you know, the person who became number one was my classmate. And I never even asked anybody to assist her. So when it came to me, I told my friend, you know, if she's the best, she was a lady.
Okay, so it's safe to assume that according to the President of Kenya, Kenya is a country where all Kenyans are equal before the law. But interestingly, according to his deputy president, it's a shareholding company in which political appointees ought to be the priority for the government.
I think you should not take the sentiments of my deputy out of context.
What was the context?
I think it is fair if you can arrange an interview with him so that you can contextualize, you know, because now we are discussing him, me and you, and he's not here.
Not him per se, Mr. President.
Because that's what it is.
Not him per se, Mr. President. We are discussing what he said. He is not the subject here, but okay. Let me put it this way. Let me paraphrase the question. What's your interpretation of what a shareholding company means? What do you understand by it?
I think, from where I sit, I think what Rigathi Gachagua is just trying to say is that while it is true that first we must serve all Kenyans equally, we must, to the extent possible, spread appointments across the country. And that's what I have tried as much as possible to do. If you look at my PSS, I think I got PSS from 41 counties. If you look at the CASs, I got CASs, I think, from 45 counties. Every county has a CAS in my administration, even the ones who voted for my opponent. I put them. If it was the philosophy of my deputy, they wouldn't be shareholders, and therefore they wouldn't qualify. But you know, there is an extent to which you must nationalize, you know. Many people thought, for example, the Hustler Fund. Many people thought, oh, you know, this is just going to be for the people who voted for Kenya Kwanza. It is not. Look at the distribution of the Hustler Fund. Every county in the Republic of Kenya equally. You know, you don't have to know nobody. You don't have to know your MP. You don't have to speak to nobody. It is your phone and Hustler Fund. You have your money, you move on. So that is, and precisely, my good brother Ayub, precisely what I was saying. Instead of arguing about 20 appointments, 15, I don't know, this community, that community, why don't we bake a bigger cake? Why don't we create 1 million, 2 million jobs so that everybody has a piece of the pie? And that is what I am asking my good people, the people of Kenya, to help me, you know, invest in these programs. Let us pay our taxes. Let us contribute to the housing fund. Let us, those of us who have a job, let us not hold those who are without a job in contempt. They have not committed any crime. They are not lesser human beings. It is just that they don't have the opportunity me and you have. Let us do something about them also feeling part.
Mheshimiwa, kabla mwelekezi wetu ama kiongozi wetu kumalizia, naomba tukate mzizi wa fitina kwa swali lake Ayub. Kwa hivyo sasa hivi unaweza kuambia Wakenya kwamba matamshi ya naibu wako unayakana na kuyakashifu kwamba serikali yako si kampuni ya hisa?
Haya ni mambo yako.
Kwa hivyo unamuunga mkono basi?
Haya ni mambo yako.